Hey guys, what's up? Back with another video. This time we're going to do a WWE Classic pay-per-view review from the year 2018. We continue with our rundown for the 2018. Today we have Super Showdown from 2018 from down under Australia. That was a terrible Australian accent. Sorry guys. It's been a long day. I mean, it's been a long morning so far. So there you go. There's the Shield on the cover. Looks pretty fucking sick, awesome stuff. And then of course we got the Undertaker and Triple H. As I move my hand there because it looks like I was stroking Triple H for a second. Hello, Hunter. You're doing a great job. There's the disc artwork, just in case so I don't have to, so I don't forget later, a little bit later. So there's the disc artwork, disc 1 and disc 2. There's the spine. I mean, there's the back. But let's get to it. Let's get straight to the action, shall we? We kicked off this pay-per-view from Australia with the SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line as the current champions, the New Day, defended the tag team titles against Sheamus and Cesaro the Bar. This was a pretty solid opener. I like this opener. Underrated matchup in my opinion. Definitely one that I'll probably go back to in the future and have a little watch. Again, nothing really. It wasn't like the greatest match of all time or anything, but it was a good, solid opener for this pay-per-view. The Australia crowd was very hot for this match, and it was just a pretty decent opener, and the New Day retained. So pretty decent stuff right there. Big thumbs up to that one. Let's move on. The next match we had the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line as the reigning champion Becky Lynch defended her lovely championship against Charlotte Flair in a rematch from Hell in the Cell. This is Charlotte's rematch after losing the title at Hell in the Cell. Another solid matchup, but this time, on this occasion, it was let down by a DQ finish when Becky was stuck in the figure 4 or the figure 8, and she hit Charlotte with the belt and got herself disqualified. So, pretty lame disqualification, but it just estimates the point that Becky was a heel at this point. And, so plenty more with these two, when these two came from, but pretty solid match all the way up until then, but it was slightly brought down by the DQ finish. So, Charlotte wins by DQ, but doesn't win the title. So, it was okay, but it was let down by the DQ. Anyway, next match, we had Elias and Kevin Owens teaming up against John Cena and Bobby Lashley. This was basically a very simple tag team match, very basic, simple tag team match. Basically what happened was Bobby Lashley got double teamed by Kevin Owens and Elias for like 3/4 of the match, and then Lashley was able to get to Cena. Cena made the tag, cleared house, and did his 5 moves of doom. All his moves. And then pinned Elias with his 6th move of doom, which was the back fist, which he only used for this match, I think. It was just there to. It kind of felt very house showy, like like a basic match that you would fundamentals basically, a very simple basic match. Not much to it. It was just there so that John Cena could wrestle in front of the Australian crowd, I guess. But there wasn't really much to the match, apart from John Cena being in the match. So that was the hype for it. And of course, John Cena gets the win. Feel bad for Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens and Elias because they didn't really do much in this match, apart from, they were just there. It could have been anybody in the ring with John Cena. It didn't really matter. Anyway, moving on to the next match, we have the Iconics of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay taking on Asuka and Naomi in a tag team match. This was okay. Didn't really care too much about it. It was kind of the basic stuff that you would kind of see on SmackDown or Raw at that time, if given a little bit more time. Didn't really care too much about it. It was just to get the Iconics on the show because they're from Australia. But it was cute that they got the win here in Australia rather than lose, because that seemed like a WWE thing for a long time, was to have the babyface, to have the hometown person lose in their hometown. But Iconics won here, and it was okay. Nothing much to it apart from the fact that they got the win. So Iconics won, and we move on to the next match, which is AJ Styles against Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. No disqualification, must be a winner. Awesome stuff. We have an awesome match here, fantastic, and what a fantastic end to a brutal storyline, like a brutal feud that this has been. AJ Styles finally putting Samoa Joe away and getting his revenge with the Carve Crusher. I forgot what the submission was called for a second there. Yeah, so AJ Styles wins and moves on. This is because I've already reviewed Crown Jewel 2018. Go check that out if you haven't already. This is the final pay-per-view where AJ Styles is the WWE Champion. So it's been a good run with AJ Styles as the WWE Champion. But yeah, Crown Jewel 2018 is his final pay-per-view as the WWE Champion. Because he loses it on SmackDown before Survivor Series. But yeah, it's been a great run with AJ Styles as WWE Champion in 2018, and this match was no different. Him and Samoa Joe went out there and had a great physical, intense feud over Samoa Joe making it personal with his family, and just glad that AJ Styles got the win and ended this feud. And the reason why I say kinda ended this feud is because AJ was supposed to face the winner of Daniel Bryan and Miz, who what happened later on this card. He was supposed to fight them at Crown Jewel, but of course the winner, spoiler alert, Daniel Bryan, didn't want to travel to Saudi Arabia, so Samoa Joe was the replacement for Daniel Bryan at Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. So, anyway, we'll get to that. We've already done that Crown Jewel pay-per-view. So it was a fitting end for this chapter of the Samoa Joe AJ Styles story. But it was what it was. It was what it was with the whole the Daniel Bryan thing muddled things up a little bit, but it's okay. We move on to the next match. Sorry, choked a little bit. We have the Riot Squad of Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan taking on the team of Ronda Rousey and the Balor Twins. Not much to this match. It was just there to set up Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella for the next pay-per-view after this Evolution. They kind of planted the seeds for that match, where Nikki and Brie wouldn't tag in Ronda for the longest time, but then Ronda did make the tag and won the match for them. And basically they did the same match on Raw a couple of days later after this, and basically then the Bellas turned on her. So. Yeah, it was a pretty average stuff. It was just filler, but it was just to get to where we needed to go with the Ronda versus Nikki Bella match at the next pay-per-view. So, it was what it was. Anyway, moving on to the next match, we have Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. Fantastic matchup. It really helped with that the crowd were really into it because it was one of their home country men in Buddy Murphy, fighting for the Cruiserweight title. Good stuff right here. And Buddy Murphy won the Cruiserweight title, and that again making it 2-0 in Australia. That the home country people won in their hometown, so in their home country. So very interesting booking there. But I think it was the right time. I think Cedric has had the title since WrestleMania, so. Probably a good time, and thankfully the match happened in Australia because the crowd seemed more into it than they would have if this match would have happened in America. So pretty cool to see, and this was probably Buddy Murphy's biggest moment in WWE because after that he just seems to be he doesn't seem to do much after this moment. So pretty cool moment for Buddy Murphy, and we move on to the next match. Pretty good stuff, really good match. Anyway, next match, we have Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre taking on the three members of the Shield, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. Very interesting tag team match here, 6-man tag. Started out very slow when they beat up Seth Rollins for like a good portion of the match. And then once all of the men got in the ring, it really got very interesting. It really got very fun to watch. There was a little bit of teases in the match of Dean Ambrose turning on the Shield, but that didn't happen. It just little teases, but it didn't happen. Like Roman accidentally Superman punching him. when he was supposed to hit Dolph Ziggler. But apart from that, pretty solid 6-man tag team matchup. And yeah, this would be Roman Reigns' last match in 2018, pay-per-view wise, because unfortunately, not long after this, he'd be diagnosed with leukemia again. So yeah, but this is the end for Roman Reigns for now. Very emotional stuff. But you know, I'm just glad that he was able to come over the back of then. So by the time February or March comes around in 2019, he's back. So pretty cool stuff. Anyway, that's a pretty good, decent tag team match. The Shield get the win, of course. And yeah, we move on to the next match, which is Daniel Bryan versus Miz. Not much to say about this one. It was a pointless 2-minute match. It was built as the #1 contender match to face AJ Styles at Crown Jewel, and basically, I feel like they had their time cut, and they basically did they had a 2-minute match, and Daniel Bryan won with a roll-up, a small package. So, not much to it. Daniel Bryan wins via small package, becomes #1 contender, and yeah, that's it. That's the end of the Miz and Daniel Bryan feud that we've been building up for a couple of months. So, not very disappointing feud, very disappointing ending to the feud, but it is what it is. Anyway, we move on to the main event. We have The Undertaker versus Triple H. The last time ever, if you believe that. It was fine. It was a very. It didn't need to go as long as it did. It didn't need to go 30 minutes. I don't think I like both men, but I respect both of them as legends. But I don't think it needed to go over 30 minutes, especially when the previous match, Daniel Bryan and Miz, went 2 minutes. So I wonder where the time got cut on that one. You can presume. We can only presume. But it was what it was. It was kind of unintentionally comedy at some points, where like Kane was in Triple H, Kane was in Undertaker's corner and Shawn was in Triple H's corner, and Kane was bloody useless, as the Australians would say. Bloody useless. That was a terrible accent. I've still got to stop doing that. Anyway, so yeah, Kane was useless, and of course Triple H would get the win thanks to help from Shawn Michaels, setting up the DX Brothers of Destruction Crown Jewel match, which I've already reviewed on this channel. So yeah, and then of course after the match, the Brothers of Destruction laid out DX and stood tall to end the show. So yeah, pretty solid stuff. As for the show itself, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was a very solid show, very enjoyable show. I had fun, a lot of fun with it, and at the end of the day, that's all that counts. That's all that matters, really. That if you're sitting there watching a 3+ hour show, you like to have fun with it, right? So I had a lot of fun with it, making fun at some parts and talking how bloody useless Kane was. But apart from that, it was a pretty solid show. It was a setting up show. There was a lot of setting things up for the future pay-per-views like Crown Jewel and Evolution. But apart from that, it was a pretty solid show. I'm going to give this, as I said, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And I'm out.